Kia ora from Aotearoa. We're coming up just towards new moon in mid-January 2026. And it felt important to have a tea date in the Cosmic Cafe on the event horizon with our dear sister Creatrix from South Africa. And we're going to record this journey in case there's something that wishes to be shared with our guardians of Gaia circle and beyond. And how perfect.
Yeah. And as we settle into this moment to just perhaps share what's on top of my heart in this moment. And that is this deepened realization and remembrance of how important it is during this transition and expansion to stay in our hearts. As soon as we move into our other bodies of being, then we are taking ourselves out of our unified presence. And we move into a place of wanting to understand what is occurring within us. And what I've experienced this last week is to allow myself to stay in my heart, to stay there in the sanctuary and sanctum almost of my crystal essence. And as soon as I allowed for that to be so, and for the attempt to understand just to fall away, there's something else that is starting to emerge. And the importance of giving expression of that which moves through us. And why I'm saying that is, since the last time that we had tea, there was a sharing around the womb of Gaia. And many steps has taken since. Many expansions has occurred. And I continuously hear this message. You need to give expression for it to be grounded. And then I think to myself, but Guardians of Gaia is only again with the next new moon or full moon, so how does one do that? And I realized that if I keep on feeling that nudge, there needs to be something significant that is yearning to be grounded. And then I realized, but as a group of guardians of Gaia, and perhaps others that is also tuning into, that is called to look at this, there's something beyond the individual. And it feels at this stage that there's something beyond even the planetary that is grounding through each one of us. And as each one of us are giving expression to that, it creates a grounded gnosis that each one of us are vitally critical, almost is the words, to give expression so that all of those fields can start weaving together more coherently. And as it does, there's a deepening of the foundation that we are all here as guardians and stewards of, of sovereignty to allow for that foundation to strengthen and stabilize as the collective is starting to open also into that field so that they can feel the stability that is here for them and for each one of us.
It's really interesting as you speak into this and give expression. Literally, my whole heart is warmed up. And there's an opening of a lotus here, but it's not the lotus out of the pond lotus. If you've seen the really tall lotuses that look like almost like a poppy that open up, it's one of those ones with really soft and many petals opening up through the heart as we come into a unified field together into that
Yeah.
unified field of love. And then
Yeah.
speaking into the firmament and how transference happens, transmission and transference happens. Because the way I experience the new earth light body, it's not a grid system at all. It's more of a firmament, which is alive and living and pulsing. It's almost like blades of grass at different heights made of light, is how I experience the new earth firmament. And talking about transference, it's like that each blade of grass is connected through different frequency bandwidths. And when there's information available in the field, we're able to pick things up through our own antenna because it's now in the field. And it has been expressed and anchored through the physicality and into the physical body and the planetary body.
I love that. And the it, the experience is it feels like literally, and I know I've heard those words before, but it feels like this cosmic ocean, one cosmic plasma substance that is, it's a little bit thicker than water. So it feels like that. And then every aspect of creation, which, so if I just think of what I've been keep on seeing this last few days, is there's this gnosis that all of a sudden what's in our views, and if I say in our, it is for the whole to realize that it no longer this planetary awareness or even solar awareness, but this awareness that the whole cosmos is here. It's here, and it's in a very fluid field. And therefore, the states of our being is very fluid now, so that we can pick up our unique signal, our sound, the code that's within each one of us, and that very architecture. And I just want to move into what I've been hearing this last 2 days so loudly, is to remember that every time when two or more of us are together, it is easier for us to expand individually and collectively to ground that which needs to be grounded through Gaia. And to always remember two things. Firstly is none of this will be possible without Gaia. It's happening simultaneously to her, to us, and therefore to our whole solar system and our galaxy, beyond all the other galaxies and universes. And we are experiencing all of that. And through all our individual paths and the groundednesses that has occurred through that, we are now stable enough to receive all these signals that's coming in, which is part of the collective and part of the other galaxies and universes. And to hold that in our fields, to hold that as a template in our fields, to ground that, so that the co-weaving between us, our celestial and terrestrial bodies, and all the energies that's moving through Gaia, move through her, him, and I'll speak about that now first, and then through us, our expressions. And I just want to touch on this crystalline architecture, the true earth architecture of Gaia has always been here. We came to visit, and we are expanding into that which was always here. And not only is the true earth architecture always been here, and we're expanding into that, but also the galactic and universal architecture, so that there's one cosmic body that's always been here. are available for all of us to expand our awareness into as a grounded experience, because that's why we came here, is to come and experience this absolutely magnificent expansion into allowing ourselves to know what it feels like to have a human experience as a celestial beingness that we are.
Absolutely. What we're discovering has always existed. Effectively, we're rediscovering it since the time of the fall, when we were disconnected from it. And we can integrate it at the rate of our own embodiment and evolution. Otherwise, it's just possible. It's possible to see it, but not actually experience it and live it without the embodiment in the evolutionary journey.
And then the realization just comes to me, why are we seeing it? Because it is within us. And I think I actually touched on it when we shared about the cosmic womb that was always connected, but the reconnection was with the remembrance of it being there. And what I mentioned there was feeling the other aspects of the galaxy. And I remember when I mentioned it, I knew there's something else to be given expression to, but it's not the moment. And I left it. And over this last, however many days it was since that moment, that field I now know needed to stabilize within me before giving expression to. So what I'm seeing is this, it's this walk. And I'm walking, but I'm walking as my physical expression, but I'm walking as my galactic expression as well simultaneously. And the walk is to the center of the center of the galactic plane. And I'm noticing how, because if we look at the galactic, so what I'm seeing is this galactic plane, and the center is here in the center, and to the side here is where Earth and then our moon and our sun and all the other planets are, and they are on their path, and here's the center. And I realize that the closer I'm walking towards the center, it stays in coherence, because there's stabilization in the greater field to do so and to experience that walk. So here I am walking to the galactic center, and as the expansion into that occurs, I realize when I look back, I still see the Earth, yet I'm simultaneously aware of the presence of the Earth in my beingness. So the multidimensionality of viewing while simultaneously knowing the beingness thereof, if that makes sense. And then what I saw in that moment is, so I moved out of my home. So I went outside the evening, and I looked up and I saw the whole Milky Way. And in that moment, I just saw the Milky Way within me too. And I realized, oh, but it is a reflection, and then my mind wanted to start making sense of that. And I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that, because something is occurring here. Let me just experience that. And I've been looking at the Milky Way for, all my life, because I just love the feel of it. But now to have a felt experience in the body. And as I was standing like that, I realized, but the whole Milky Way is all around for all of us. It's all around us. It's not up there. And that's literally what it means. Nothing is up there and out there. It's here. And all the stars is here. The experience in the moment was, it just doesn't look or feel that way physically because of the light year distances is so vast that it appears that it's out there. But if you take that light year time continuum out, it's just here. It's just here.
It's interesting. I had just a tea with a couple of sisters in person a few days ago. And one of them, and one I hadn't met before, she asked, well, how do you experience the planetary body? And I just said, there's absolutely zero separation between my body and the planetary body. It's fully integrated, and I experience everything through my body, what's going on in the planetary body, and work and get called to work with the planetary body through my body. There is no separation there. And it's really beautiful when you're sharing the experience of, yes, we are the Milky Way. I actually recall on the turning of the Mayan calendar, the beginning of the ninth wave of the Mayan calendar, which happened at the end of October 2011. I happened to be in London attending a shamanic workshop with Juan Nuez del Prado, maestro from Peru. He's a philosopher as well as an alto maestro, a high shaman. And we were doing a shamanic journey. And I don't really recall what the shamanic journey was about, but I recall my experience because literally I was expanding and expanding, expanding. And then I literally saw myself as a silhouette, transparent, floating in the Milky Way. And then the edge of my silhouette just dissolved completely. And I was pretty speechless and just in awe of what, and wonder of what I just experienced. And he must have been watching me in circle, because when we came back, he said, would you like to share? And I said, not yet, not yet. So once everybody had shared, then I could share what I had just experienced. And he actually described it as a Kabbalah initiation. Kabbat meaning cube. Kabbalah has many translations. But that's how he described it. And that was the first time I actually viscerally experienced myself as, yes, I am the cosmos. It is me, and there is no separation of that experience.
Yeah. And I love that. I love that, Leanne, because you're taking me back into a moment. And I remember that date specifically because that year I also went to Russia, which was in 2004. So that's how I remember that specific date in time continuum. And I don't recall seeing the Milky Way specifically, but I do recall the felt experience was like I was in that moment, if I recall that moment, not anything that has occurred after that, it felt like I was little particles of the sun. And every particle, my being was the particle of the sun. Because it felt yellow golden and it just felt like light. So I'm saying particle, but I was distinctively aware of light as well. And I thought, but I've got no awareness in this moment of my body because that was all I could feel. And I just left it. So it felt like I was melted into or one with. Now I've got the language, but then I didn't. But it felt like I was one with the whole sun. And then there was also a knowingness that, but that which I'm feeling is there's almost a substance to it somewhere in the middle of me, but it's more than that. And I wouldn't even know how long that was, but it was quite some time. And then I just felt myself coming back into, I had awareness of my body again sitting there. And that was a visceral experience that I had a few times after that. And only now, when I hear your words and I hear the expression that I'm giving and you are giving, is that giving a voice to, and through doing so, as we express, anchoring it in so that all can know that every time when they had such an experience, we are just connecting into that which we already are. Our awareness is moving into that which we already are. And as it was a planetary experience at first, becoming a very galactic, universal, cosmic experience in our bodies more consistently, as we have since those many years ago, through those different initiations, started to embody the awareness. And all what embodiments mean is that we are now walking with the awareness of that being in us, through us, as our architecture comes alive. And the beauty that I'm experiencing is that we can walk as that now. Previously, it was something to connect to again. And it's almost as if we now are staying connected. And through doing so, even stabilizing more the groundedness thereof.
It is. It's really beautiful because what I'm witnessing is when we're able to communicate and express with transmission,
Yeah.
we're not just sharing the knowledge, we're sharing the embodied wisdom. And if people are open to receive, then they can actually receive keys and codes and pieces of their own puzzle through our transmission, through our experience, directly into their own system for their own remembrance. And what it highlights is the importance as we, most people are familiar with soul embodiment, Homo luminous, but some people are a bit wary about Homo galacticus, our galactic recalibration, or Homo universalis, what it is to actually reside and stabilize within the unified field.
Okay.
So it's not that they have to believe in it, so long as they're not closed to it.
Yes.
If people are walking with beliefs that are limiting, then it does not allow their system the ability to interact with what's all that is available right now. So even if this talk of Homo galacticus, galactic recalibration, is something like beyond the conditioned and programmed mind, as long as we can dissolve the beliefs that are limiting it and open to, well, maybe there's a potential there, let me be open to it, then magic happens. Because I know very much on the beginning of my journey, there weren't many people around who had eyes wide open dimensionally. So I kind of just, being an adventurous soul, just went on my own little earth walk. And literally, like horses' blinkers, I was like, okay. Through my own visceral experience, I was able to expand my blinkers until I literally got to the stage where, like, okay, I'm done with them. Teach me what I need to know. I'm ready now. And literally, as soon as I was willing to, get rid of the blinkers and say, okay, to my soul, okay, I'm open to remember as much as I need to. Then I literally had to change that wording into at the place of which I can integrate, because I was literally getting such enormous amounts of information, I couldn't digest them.
Exactly.
So I kind of like wipe myself out and integrate and then do it again. And by the third time, I was like, hang on, there's another way of doing this. Please teach me what I need to know at the rate my system can integrate.
Exactly.
And then, you know, we're we are the architects of our reality. So with our focused intent, we can regulate that for our having compassion and empathy for our human experience and what the human experience goes through on that journey of remembrance into our multidimensionality.
And the beauty of what you just expressed. So firstly, the first part of it, I just got full body. What's your word always? Koyopa, no?
Koyopa is it's the Mayan word for full
Okay.
body ecstasy,
Love
true
that.
dance.
So it was this resonance. For me, it's resonance. When that's there, I know full resonance.
Yeah.
Because I think that's important. What you just gave an expression to. Because all of us, remember, all of us has been on this earth walk many times before. The difference is now there's a conscious sharing and giving expression to that, and only start doing so now in community more consistently, because many of us has walked these individual paths, and it was always meant to be that way, because through being so, it allowed us to really embody the wisdom, because in every little cell and crackle within us that there was still this aspect of disbelief or not knowing or any other inkling of a veil, a something that it was still there, needed to be witnessed by ourselves first. And through doing so, witnessing each one of those little aspects and all those, as they call it, what do they call it? Dark nights that we've been through. I think that's the word.
How many dark nights of the soul one must encounter on the
But
journey
it,
home to?
yeah, through walking through that, that is exactly what each one of us were empowered by, because it became our own gnosis. Firstly, and then secondly, not only that we embody that through walking through it, but we also unlock the codes that was there, always ready for us to see when those veils was away or became, dissolving. Because I experienced it not as one veil. It almost felt like there was different veils over different cells of my body that I needed to, peek into and dissolve, etc. But through doing so, there was a grounding occurring in the different cells, in the different organs. And only then, gradually, as you so beautifully now expressed, only then can we therefore become a grounded anchoring of that codes that needs to firstly not only be activated through us and therefore be seen and known and experienced and unlock something for others, but also to be very aware that each one of us has come here with our specific and unique codes to be shared, and can only be felt by others when we give expression to it. It can only be felt by others when we give expression to it. If we don't say a word, those aspects and possibilities in the greater field can't come alive in our architecture. It cannot. We need to give expression to it. Because over this last week, there's this deep knowing that is starting to move through, and that is the remembrance, even deeper, that each one of the codes that each one of us behold in our architectural design, so in our crystalline light body, all of us came here with that intact as the same crystalline, perfectly designed architecture of Gaia has always been there and always intact, as is the crystalline architecture of the cosmos. Has always been there and always intact. It's just our awareness of it being there and being so has shifted into that for various reasons. It can be because of the bigger shift that's occurring in the collective, or perhaps we becoming comfortable to give expression, or perhaps the organic forming of communities where all of us that has got similar codes that need to be received by others are gathering together in community, and all the different communities are forming. But the truth is, beyond and through, continuously and eternally so, there's this one original, organic, crystalline field of creation. And in that field, a design and a designer, a creator, a creatrix, and creation. And that creation is the cosmos. In this beautiful, exquisite field that we are. And I think that's where that, what was the word, fluid, plasmic, felt experience that we are having is in that field. And all of us held, and what I'm seeing now is this whole field. And then in each part of that field, there are each one of us. This small little aspect, yet connected to this whole field. And as we start giving expression, it comes into being in this field. Yeah.
When you speak into that, then I'm looking at what our Guardians of Gaia circle provides as a landing pad.
Yeah.
And a space and place where people are gathering who have an extraordinarily strong light body infrastructure and connection to source, so that when we come together, it's like it's still a hall of mirrors, but the mirrors are very transparent, so they're reflecting the same story through different voices, through different sound, soul signatures. And it's like an orchestra coming together who are singing the same song from their unique origins into unity. It's really beautiful to look at that way.
Yeah. And to know, we were talking about giving expression and the importance of giving expression. The felt experience, and it's now been a whole week. I thought it's going to be an experience and then integration, but it feels like that experience is staying with me this time. and that is that where previously in a different moment of expansion or awareness, there was this, how does this piece and this piece and this piece and this piece in this greater revealing inside of me, how does all these pieces, come together? How does it fit together to ensure that that which is moving through and giving expression to is always and always only in alignment with the one source consciousness, the one original source of creation, so that there's not this individualized galactic expression, remembrance that is moving through me. And not that there's anything right or wrong with that, but the knowing that when I'm only in this one individualized Lyrian or Palladian or Octarian, whatever expression in the galaxy, or whatever expression in one of the universes that I've been, and you've been, and all of us have been, to know that as soon as I go into this one individualized expression, there's a limited expression of that which wants to flow through. But if we stand back and move into this crystal heart, the core of our consciousness, and we look out and remember that all of those galactic expressions and universal expressions, which we can attempt in our human, language to give expression to a Homo luminous galacticus and universalis architecture. But together it's one cosmic architecture. And as we stay in our cosmic architecture, there's a gnosis when I start sharing from there, or when we start sharing from there collectively, first individually and collectively. There's an expression that's moving through our planetary body first, always first, because it's the closest to us. We're in it, in the center. And then we start giving expression to our galactic and universalis bodies as a unified expression rather than an individualized and therefore unintegrated still expression. And therefore, when giving that expression, it's limited, and it's limiting what is available. Because I remember experiencing myself in a galactic experience. And then when I try to view there, it almost feels like when the field is like this, and you stand here only, this limits the looking at. So the dimensions through which I look is smaller here than here, if you just look dimensionally. But if you stand in the center, there's this full whole view of the whole, all. And then if each one of us stand in those centers, we are bringing in those aspects so that together we can have a more deeper felt experience of the whole. Because my small little limited experience, although connected to the whole, only gives me this one experience, because that's the only code I'm here to ground, as with each one of us. But together, all those codes are coming together to ground something much more significant beyond our understanding.
It's interesting as you give voice to that. So what I'm looking at, on this journey home to self, we do a lot of reclamation of aspects of consciousness that have been caught in space-time in other parallel timelines, lifetimes on this planet and off this planet. And although there's nothing wrong with past life regression or visiting past lives and everything, the way that I operate in and with those that go through mastery of multidimensionality is we're here to go into another timeline, reclaim the consciousness and bring it back here without attachment to the story or identification with whatever roles we played in other lifetimes or timelines. And it's so important because, years ago, I was running a workshop in Poland, and one of the women in the workshop was operating with two timelines open simultaneously. One, her life in Poland, and the other one in Egypt with a lover she had from another timeline. So she literally had two timelines open simultaneously and her consciousness divided. And it's really unhealthy for our human experience to operate like that, and dangerous. So it's really important, if we're the only real reason to visit a past life is to pick up parts of our consciousness that may be trapped there, dissolve or resolve anything that has us entangled there, reclaim any gifts, and return to center, here now, in this present moment.
Thank you for giving expression to that so powerfully. because I think that that allows for all to remember. You've been on a journey, you've been on a path to reclaim all of that. Be with all of that here now. There comes a moment that we don't have to walk away to all those aspects anymore. It's all here now. Allow it to be integrated and felt and known here. And as we do, there's something else that's opening, and it's right here. It's right here around us. The whole Milky Way is around us. The whole galaxy is around us here now. And the joy and the curiosity that comes with, sure, now I can move into that, because those remembrances felt simultaneously of all those aspects that was integrated. It comes alive in us in a it almost feels like a new shine. That probably not the words, but a new shine of a integrated gnosis, that all of that is here. And when we stay in the center of the whole experience, something else is moving in and through. And to remember, we came here for that. We came here to first awake, ascend, embody, and now to experience all of that together and start creating something new, all which is already within us too. But to start exploring that. So it almost feels like and I'm not saying there's not going to be further integrations and recalling and moving back into the centeredness. I'm not saying that, because surely that will continue, but the intention and focus is being a witness to those parts now. It almost feels that way, that now there's a witnessing of, and a sovereign witnessing. So it's almost like those have been integrated. Now I can, through my centeredness and my gnosis of the sovereignty of my being, be a witness to all those aspects as we feel them unattached and unidentified with. But it feels almost, there's almost a freedom that comes from that. Oh, so I don't have to walk back to this aspect and this aspect, because it's here already brought them back and integrated. And now to soften into, so how does that now feel like to actually just be that and not be distracted by anything else that's happening in the collective? Because what the collective need from us is to be stabilized in our integrated field and architecture of who we are. And the love that then flows through, because it almost feels, while I was giving expression to that, it feels like a simultaneity of the awareness of that in the center of each one of the cells in my body. So that the cells in my hair and the cells in my bones and the cells in my organs and the cells in my blood and the cells in my water and the breath that flows through can together and coherently so just breathe the depths of the love of source through all of us, and to experience that a little bit more and longer now that we've walked our paths to the center, and to soften into that.
And there's a lot of joy and playfulness in here. And it's quite interesting when you talk about the breath. What comes to mind is, an elephant breathes 6 to 8 times per minute. And when we breathe 6 to 8 times a minute, these long, deep, slow breaths, like an elephant does, it literally syncs ourselves with creation. And we're not just breathing through the nose or the mouth, we're actually breathing through every cell of our being, in and out, with the rhythm of the planetary body through the rhythm of our body. And it's beautiful to experience.
And I'm seeing now here in the African plains, all these elephants walking, you know, all knowing exactly the path, and just for a moment honoring the wisdom that's also pulsing through them, has always pulsed through them, and sinking to that. And how they, I just love that the image that comes in is, as there's this new babies being born, the small little elephants, that comes into expression, how the whole family just brings the baby to the middle and, you know, keep it safe, keep it protected, knowing exactly what to do, how to breathe, and following. Also know at the bottom of their feet, these big elephant feet, those lines are connected to the earth lines, and guiding them where to walk, there where they've been, there where they are still going to explore new territories. But a grounded experience. If I think about that elephant, I just feel this grounded presence.
It is, you know, that elephants are incredible beings. And those big cushions on their feet allow them to walk in silence. I'll never forget, I think I was in Amboseli in Kenya once, looking out over the horizon, over the savannah at sunset, and literally 100-odd elephant just walked up behind us and directly around us and through us. And the silence of these gentle giants that literally walk the song lines of Africa, and did quite successfully until borders and boundaries were put in place, are just extraordinary beings to be around, to live with. And, you know, 20 odd years ago when I was working in conservation in Africa, there was a big move into tri-frontier and opening corridors for the wildlife to resume their original migratory routes, and how to do that without conflict and community with wildlife was a big move then. And 20 years later, the places and spaces that have opened up for wildlife to start moving on original migratory routes is phenomenal.
Just
But having a baby elephant to babysit once was not phenomenal. One of my gifts of living in a national park was, you know, people would bring me all the waifs and strays. And one day, like around sunset, we got a call because there was an abandoned baby elephant. And we're like, okay, bring it in. But you can't leave a baby elephant. They need connection. And so this little baby, you know, it still had a dried up umbilical cord hanging down from its navel. And it was crying for its mother. And to be its mum for a night was certainly a lesson. I was just exhausted. I was awake all night with this little baby. It had diarrhea, it had a fever. And the only place we had to be with it was in our little hut with no walls or doors, but a half stable door. So it's like, okay, it's home with us. And I was in and out of bed, in and out of the shower with it, and in the end I was just like lying there exhausted with my arm out of my bed, so at least he could come and hold on to my arm and cuddle up. And then like about 5 a.m. just before sunrise, after our third shower, he just fell asleep with his little head against the wall. And
Oh, bless him.
for about 20 minutes. He finally slept. But no, extraordinary experience. But the elephants, love them dearly. I miss them.
Yeah, and what I'm so aware of now again is just bringing into the field the essence of all that is already here, all the crystals, all the elements and the elemental properties, all the plants, all the animals, and all the people that is here already intact, but starting to see them in their crystalline essence, so that they can therefore also, it almost feels like giving permission that it's time to be also in your crystalline expression, as the crystalline essence of Gaia is pulsing through all the different levels and layers of her body, as a possibility for all of her creation, her expression, to be felt as crystalline, as one field, being held by the mother, which you were temporary mother for the little baby elephant, but held by our greater cosmic mother, all of us, Gaia included, probably held first before we were here, to give us this experience of knowing ourselves as crystalline, as sovereign, as free beings that we are, and to physically experience that. And not only experience ourselves as that, but to witness that in others, in all others.
And to experience it within all species, for that evolutionary potential is available now to all species. And for us to experience it in other species is not only to embody it in ourselves, but it's always to acknowledge it in other species, be them of the plant or animal or insect kingdom. And the interactions that are available to us now with these other kingdoms is absolutely extraordinary.
Yeah. And as I hear you say that, I'm so aware that I've only been interacting with their planetary expression and form as a mineral and a crystal and our elements, and a plant and an animal and a human, but opening into the knowing that they are also experiencing all the galaxies and the universes moving through their essence, and grounding the gnosis of the cosmic beings that all of we are. Because as Gaia has moved into her cosmic expression, that is available to all of her creation and all of her expressions, as we acknowledge and honor that within us, to see that in others too, and start playing with that. And I've just got this this joyous curiosity that I've always had, ignited in a new way now. What will it look like and sound like and feel like to experience all aspects of creation in their galactic and universal expression, and not to overthink it, because we will always be led by our crystalline essence, and that the natural, joyous, innocent playfulness that's alive within each one of us, and renewally alive now. It feels like there's a renewal of all the light that's been moving through and in and around not only our solar system, but all that's coming through the solar system, and therefore through Gaia, allowing all of those aspects to come alive, because we see and play with it around us. And then just the thought creates a lot of joy within me. So imagine to go and sit with a plant and just see them in their cosmic expression, because that's possible.
So this is interesting because right now we've got Adam's calendar knocking on the door. So
Yes.
for those that aren't familiar with Adam's calendar, it's one of the oldest starstone circles on our Earth, which is out in the southeast of South Africa. It's in Mpumalanga, I think, out there.
Yeah.
I've visited it once. It's an extraordinary sight, but it's like hovering on the edge of our conversation right now. So it's obviously connected with this.
Absolutely. And a few days ago, 2 days ago, It's so nice not to have this concept of time anymore. It's beautiful. I was asking my mother yesterday, what month is it again? Concept of month is away. She said, I know it's January, but I don't know what day it is. It felt so good to hear that from her, who always knows which day it is. And I thought, oh yes, we are really expanding into our timeless nature. So 3 days ago, I met with a friend. And if I say friend, that's the word that comes through now, because I know we've been walking since the birth of the cosmos. Only came into my physical awareness a few years back, and we haven't seen each other in physical life expression over this last 2 years. And there's many things I've walked through since then, as did she, as did all of us. And as we met, we just came into each other's awareness. And her words was, before we move into any conversation, here's a message. I said, yes. She said, there's a Michael Tellinger. I don't know who it is, but there's a Michael Tellinger that's in my field and you in my field, and the two of you need to come together. Am I aware of Adam's calendar? I said, no, I haven't heard about Michael or Adam's calendar before. And so she just shared with me the importance of us meeting, the two of us. So here I am, and I thought, let me just see what's this Adam's calendar, or who is Michael Tellinger. And as I looked at it, I realized there's nothing to be read right now. That which needs to be received will be received when I'm there. But what I did see was this stone. It looks like a donut, but it's a stone. And when I saw it, I thought to myself, it almost feels like a toric stone, because that's what my friend also said. She said there's a stone there that needs to come to the Cape, that he will give to me to bring to this area. And as I as I saw the stone and recall her conversation, I just looked at it and I knew it is a grounding of the toric field, the heart field, but in physical form, that's been here on this planet for who knows how long already, waiting our awareness to it to be present to.
Absolutely. You know, I haven't met Michael in person yet, but we're connected and have shared messages. And he's been doing amazing work out there, also with the Ubuntu movement in his community directly. And I've noticed that this Torus stone has been very present in the last week. And the power of the healing and transformation available to us within that field of that toroidal field is incredible. And I got full body resonance koyopa with, yes, there is a stone to come from Michael to
The
the
Cape.
Cape.
Yeah. And whether it's going to be at the Womb Bay or here it will be made known. I also just got a full body Kyoto as well. Kyoto.
Koyopa.
Koyopa. And yeah, whoa. Just opening into that. Oh my goodness. Just opening into that field, which is already now again, it's etheric expression. I just saw that in the center of that, the whole galactic center.
Yeah, it actually it opens beyond Homo Universalis.
I just felt that.
Yeah.
And bringing into perhaps what has moved through my field, which I forgot about what was moving through my field this last 2 weeks and last week specifically. And now that this stone is here already in its etheric form, ooh, it feels like there's a grounding that is going to move through now. So as we stand in the center of
It
the
feels like
crystal,
it's coming into the center of Womb Bay, ex False Bay.
ooh,
It's
is
landing
that
into
what
the
I
center of the
feel?
cosmic womb.
Oh my goodness, yeah, sure. It's becoming very physicalized. And as it's, sure, and in the center of that, the center of the crystal heart of Gaia, connecting to that, and within the center of the crystal heart of each one of us, in the center of that stone, grounding that through the center. And it feels like it's between the crystal core in the center of Gaia, somewhere there. It feels like it's moving into that place. And as it does, opening into what I'm hearing is the center, the crystalline core and crystalline heart of all moon-like, like our physical moon, but into its crystalline architecture, the organic crystalline core of each one of the moons, not only in our solar system, so first grounding that in, but then connecting to all moons through all planetary bodies in our solar system. Sure. So connecting our crystalline core of the, oh, this is where Theia is coming in. Ooh, the crystalline core of Theia, connecting to the crystalline center of each one of the moons of all the planetary bodies in our solar system. So connecting all those centers, the crystalline organic essence, and restoring the organic flow between them. Grounding that in as we move into the center of Gaia and her solar expression, sun expression in the center of each one of our hearts, and opening that into the center of Solaris, into the center of the central sun, center of the great central sun, and into the centered light expression of the cosmos. Whew. Just aligning all of that up. Ooh. And as those three bodies, planetary, moon, sun, is coherently aligning around the crystalline core of Gaia, it feels like there's a realignment, exotonal realignment of the organic flow that is opening up. So what I'm seeing is in this Milky Way that I've been seeing around me is the circulation of the planetary bodies are moving into their organic flow. And as it does in a solar system, emanating out their core essence into all the other galaxies and universes and connecting back into the organic cosmic expression of the original essence and originated expressions. Phew. And allowing that to move in and through. So what I'm seeing now is, as we move back into the center of our individualized hearts and into the collective heart field in the center of the planetary expression, moon expression, solar expressions in the galaxy, just grounding that into each one of the 74 trillion cells in our physical body. As that is connecting into and moving through and organically circulating through the different crystal fields, through the water bodies, air bodies, light bodies, and physical architectures of each one of those expressions in the crystal kingdoms, elemental kingdoms, plant kingdoms, animal kingdoms, and the human heart's field, the crystalline field, and the sovereignty of each one of those is what allowing for this organic circulation to occur as it grounds through the center of each one of our cells. In the full gnosis that each one of our 74 trillion cells on an individual level of our physical expressions is also a reflection of the whole cosmos. That's what I'm hearing. So each one of our cells a reflection of the whole cosmos, and then the center within the heart of each one of those crystal hearts, the planetary, in the grounding that in the center of our cells, the planetary expression, the moonly expressions, the solar expressions, moving into the center of our hearts and allowing for that which is around it to weave through the centers. So it becomes this individualized, the cell is becoming an individualized, grounded cosmic expression through the cellular architecture of the cosmos, lining up. And as that is moving through and grounding, which is going to take quite a moment to move through, just taking our awareness back to that stone, that toric stone, as that is grounded through and around that in the womb, in the planetary architecture that is lighting up with that architecture. Throughout our solar system, the Milky Way galaxy emanating out through all other galaxies and universes and connecting back into the cosmic body, and that coherent flow, the one that's organic, sovereign, crystalline, is circulating through. I'm seeing now this stone, the stone is almost liquid now, and it's just circulating this through. And seeing that stone in the center of each one of my cells, and so it's just anchoring there in each one of the cells. And then, yeah, so I'm almost seeing all the toric fields of each one of the cells is coherently flowing as one. I'm seeing this movement forward, upwards, backwards. It's all happening, like this, and then forward, backward, up and down. But it's all toric fields that can circulate.
Yeah, it's like it's gone from stone to crystal to plasma.
Exactly. Yeah. and connecting the center of all the plasmic essences of each one of the expressions in the cosmos, which is beyond understanding and comprehension, but moving through as a grounded gnosis through the womb of Gaia and through each one of our cells grounded there. Sure. There was a light pressure shift. Oh, what's that word? When the pressure shifts? I'm feeling that right now.
Like the barometric pressure.
Yeah, so what I'm seeing is that the northern hemisphere, the southern hemisphere, with the exotonal alignment is occurring through the center of this, the biggest stone. The stone is grounding it, but there's this bigger alignment that is causing this pressure. And the pressure is just there because of the alignment. And I'm also seeing that there's not this east and west that we refer to, but rather this one field, you know? It just moves from east to west, but it's just one movement. It's moving through the crystal core of it all, the cosmic core, the crystalline cosmic core that's allowing for the connection of each one of these places in the centers of each one of our cells and all the bodies to coherently
And it's on the
weave together.
Torus, it's like there's one spinning in an easterly direction, one spinning in a westerly direction, but there's no east or west. It's just simultaneously in both directions
Yes.
and going through the
Yes.
center.
Yes. And the centeredness of it allows for it to, so it's almost like going like this, up and down,
Yeah.
and up and down. And as it does, these movements are occurring organically so. Ooh. And seeing that in each one of our cells, the same movement. Also the east and west through the cores.
It's interesting. Now I know. Jane 108 recently just invited me onto one of his great courses because I had to better understand the mathematics and geometry of creation. And he's got a wonderful tool to show this toroidal spin that's happening, the in and the out and the roundabout. Wow.
Yeah. In and out and roundabout.
But in symmetry and symmetrically and fluidly.
Yes.
The infinite potential that lies within the source of creation that we have access to beyond limitation.
Yes. And what I'm hearing now is to know that it can't be done in a right or wrong way because it's happening so naturally. It's an organic experience that we're just giving expression to what we are seeing, sensing, and hearing within, but it is that perfect and the perfection of the original creator, creatrix creation already perfectly designed and being simultaneously the design and the designer and the designed, but just experiencing that as that awareness moves through us to experience that which is already so in the centeredness of our being, in the crystalline heart, in the crystalline core of all the crystalline cores. And just to feel that as an experience. And to know that is, and just coming, I'm hearing you say there a few moments back that our physical expression can only experience and receive and ground through in every moment, with every breath, that which it's ready to do so. And to know that our body will only allow this to settle into and move through gradually with every breath. That's what's happening, as all is lining up and always have been lined up, but our awareness is aligning to that. And that's where that, when you talked about self-love, comes in now so strongly, to hold ourselves as this moves through us. And while we do so, to remember the joy that comes through the curiosity of meeting others, whether it's an animal or a plant or a crystal or something in our houses, to meet it in its its cosmic expression and to play with that. And through doing so and seeing that and experiencing that, grounding that in every moment, for all that we are doing every day, experiencing the crystalline expressions and the cosmic nature thereof in all that we are moving through and present to.
For there is no separation between creator and creation, and it's all unfolding from within.
Yes.
From coherent connection.
Yeah. Cosmology. A word that came up for me a few times now was cosmosis. Cosmosis, the experiencing self as oneness. Gradually, a little bit more here, a little bit more here, a little bit more here. And as the little bits are experienced, there's a grounding that occurs. And our greatest service in this moment of our expansion as the cosmic beings that we are, and becoming more and more aware of that, for every breath and every experience that we are having, it's being grounded in, because we are doing what we are doing with this awareness, and therefore grounding it in.
It is. A lot of people
Now,
refer to Earth as Pachamama, but the actual translation of Pachamama is the cosmic mother.
exactly. And she's been here all along, being a sovereign witness to all the individual paths that's walking back to the crystal essence of her heart, always open and waiting. And now I'm just seeing this absolute honoring of all the paths, knowing that it's individual paths that had to be walked back to the center of her heart. And loving all equally, whether a crystal or an animal or a plant or a human or any other planetary expression, knowing that it's all her and it's all here now for all of us to experience.
Knowing that there's
Her.
not one path for everyone. There are many paths that all lead to center.
Exactly.
So important to follow whichever path resonates for as long as it does, and not being afraid to let it go when it reaches its limit.
Yeah, exactly. We don't have to walk that path back.
No.
It's already now here. It's been walked. And what's so beautiful is, what I'm really becoming aware of is, as each one of us in our individual expression, we cannot in physical form walk all those paths, because we're in our physical body. So we might have our cosmic awareness of ourselves as all of the cosmos. But in a physical form, I can only walk in one form. You can only walk in one form. Each one of us can only walk in one physical expression. But when we come together and we give expression to our unique experience thereof, it allows each one of us the opportunity to see and hear it in others. and to honor that so deeply, knowing what we've been through, that each one of us has been through those paths, which was rather challenging at times when we forget or try to integrate or try to understand or make sense of these paths that we are walking. But now that we are honoring and celebrating each other for those paths walked, that has brought each one of us to the center of all centers, to the center of the heart of our cosmic mother, our cosmic father, in his expression and design. There's this knowing and honoring and gratitude that every time when I heard you about, for example, your elephant experience and the multitude of experiences that I'm sensing in your presence, which elephant is one particle of the trillions of particle experiences that you had. When I hear that, and I'm thinking, oh, I would never have had that experience if I haven't been here with you, giving expression to it. And through doing so, aligning something new for me, for you, for us, for all of us together, so that there's this softening into the knowing that if we just walk our own individual path that has brought us to the center and now start to experiencing the cosmic nature in everything around us. But when we come together with others and receive them in their cosmic expression and all the paths that has brought them into this gnosis, I know the grace and gratitude that comes from, that's why I'm not walking all the paths, so that I can see and experiencing through the eyes and ears and awarenesses of others. And through doing so, together, we all have this one collective cosmic experience, through that, which won't ever be possible if I can't see or hear it from you. And sometimes it's just a presence that is felt, but sometimes there's this expression that is needed, because the resonance of the voice that each one of us are speaking with, that very tone and resonance that's moving out, is what's allowing for all the different fields of our being
It
to
opens the
weave.
library of our living library of light when we give it voice and expression. It opens it dimensionally so that what's available is not just the story being spoken, but all stories, all
Exactly.
connections and keys and codes that lie within the library. It's really beautiful, and it enables us to celebrate the uniqueness of each individual and the unity through diversity. The world's a whole lot more colorful when everybody claims themselves and their unique expression in the world.
Exactly. And when I hear living library, the beauty of, and of course we can still read the book, but to know that as we enter this living library, a cosmic book, one cosmic book with this whole library of all the universes and all the galaxies and our solar system and Gaia and all the individual planetary expressions are all somewhere written in that book. And as we give expression, it's like this book comes alive, and we are this living libraries.
It is, and we just that was given expression through that experience with your message. You had to meet Michael and Adam's calendar. And I had a connection to Michael and had walked Adam's calendar, and that gave us access to what was to unfold in this moment.
And the stuff has been there all along.
Yeah.
But now through this conversation to have ground that in, as a stability to the greater field to have access to the living library in a new way. Is what I'm hearing.
It's
in a new
provided
way.
stability and strength
Yeah. So that the
and
library
coherence.
isn't, yeah, so that the library isn't something that flows or floating around somewhere, but it is here to be seen, known, experienced, and given expression to. And through doing so, lining it all up, lining it all up, lining it all up. I almost see the sheet music, you know, the sheet music with the different
Chords and symbols.
notes and chords and symbols on it. It almost feels like here in the center is the cosmic the symphony is here, but there's this cosmic book that you open, and then all this comes out. So I see all these lines, almost like the lines of the book,
Our next
like this,
civilization.
and then all the different tones and those little note tones that's written on those books. It's already there. Book's already written. The cosmos has already been created, expanded into, and you know, but through giving expression to this, it's this cosmic symphony coming alive.
And
A living song, connecting it to all the song lines.
it is, and it's like the cradle of our next civilization that is emerging,
Yes,
the next root race of humanity.
which is already there, but through us seeing it, giving expression to it, and whether giving expression to the emanation of our beingness or through word or sound or picture or song, it is coming alive. It's coming alive. It's already written. We're just bringing it alive as we see all the. So I'm seeing all those song lines in that book, and in the center of each one of our cells, those books opening and all those lining up. But I'm also seeing simultaneously this whole cosmic canvas standing in the center, access to all the colors of paint that has ever existed, and painting this new true earth into being through seeing it and sharing it, and therefore it comes alive. So becoming this living, not only living library, but also living what will be a picture in living form. This canvas that's coming alive. But the picture is not on, if you take a paper and the picture is painted on the paper, let's just take this, a picture that's painted here, but this now becomes, this whole sphere is full of that picture. And as we see it, it's this, and we are painting it through our words and gestures into form, it's coming alive. So standing in the center of a living painting, being the painter, the paint and the canvas, and our cosmic mother holding all of that and allowing us to play and paint through her guidance. Our innocent curiosity to give expression to that.
Wow, what a journey.
Yeah. Phew. Just feeling this shift in pressure again, just allowing that to move through. Ooh. To see the unseen, to hear the unheard, to know the unknown. Yet in the same moment, not knowing anything at all. And the paradox of that. To remain curious.
It is. I was just writing a reminder invitation into our Mastery of Multidimensionality 9-month mentorship. And that was some of the words. It was like, it's really an invitation to step into the unknown and learn
Yeah.
to live in the not knowing from a parasympathetic nervous system
Yeah.
with
Love.
the ability to see and sense and have faith and trust in what wishes to emerge.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the knowing that the I come back to the word architecture or pattern, the structural pattern and architecture and the integrity and the sovereignty of that is already here. It can't just, fall apart like the old expressions is currently doing. The original organic design and pattern is there. Our cosmic mother is holding that, the whole pattern throughout the whole cosmos already. It's already moved through. We just get to see and know and experience ourselves through this Homo luminous, Homo galacticus, and Homo universalis gnosis of our beings, allowing all of that to move through us and stabilize. Because I think that is something that's really needed in our human expression, that the trust and the knowing that that is already there. We don't have to build the structure. Now, etherically, we don't have to build the structure. It's already there.
No,
We
it's
soften
all
it.
in the ether, and literally it's landing as and when
Exactly.
the planetary system's ready and the pillars or the kaitiaki, the guardians, are in place.
Exactly.
And it's, it's extraordinary. Just in my meeting with
Exactly.
Sai in Kauai last week, we were watching the next level of the sanctuary that wants to land in Kauai coming into place,
Mm.
and being shown that as soon as the six pillars are calibrated and ready to show up for their particular soul service and mission at this time, it's ready to land.
Mm. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And what I'm hearing is everything is, it's already there.
Yeah.
It's between each one of us in our guardianship and stewardship and, start remembering and realizing that as we step into that, all that's going to be built around whatever that is, what we are bringing in, it will be so. To start calling that, calling it in, if that's the word,
Yeah.
for it to move through. Yeah,
Calling it in and recalibrating into
yeah, yeah.
recalibrating our own architecture to meet that architecture.
Mm.
Wow.
Thank you,
Thank you
thank
so
you, thank
much for another cosmic tea on the event horizon of our new true earth. We
you.
didn't see that one coming.
Thank you. Thank you for being here in this moment and having tea. For all that has moved through this place and space in this moment. Whew, for it to be so. And as the recalibration continue, yeah, to move through our days. So I'm moving into my day now and you moving out of your day now.
I am. After that, I feel like I might just take my body to the ocean before
Yeah, me too.
sunset.
Me too.
So thank you, and thank all of you who may join us in this replay over the next coming days. And we look forward to meeting you in our Guardians of Gaia circle on the next new or full moon. Much love. Aroha nui from Aotearoa.